beginner's Pilates sequence. Not going to focus a huge amount on flexion-based exercises. We will be working the front of the trunk, but not by rounding or flexing the spine. So this particular exercise program will suit people with osteoporosis of the spine. So I'll get you to sit tall if you need to, maybe on a cushion or a blanket, so that you feel you can comfortably sit up on top of the sit bones. My legs are quite comfortable in a cross-legged position, but if yours aren't, you can take them out, either reach them straight or even with the knees bent, and just add as much lift as you need. You can even sit in a small stool for this if you need. Closing down your eyes and just start to focus on your breath. You're thinking of the crown of your head like a helium balloon floating upwards. You're thinking of the pelvis and those sit bones like an anchor sinking down into the floor. Allow your shoulder blades to melt like melting ice cream down your back. And keep them there in a heavy kind of way rather than pulling or straining kind of way. Think of the lower rib cage like an umbrella, and as you breathe in, that umbrella is opening. And as you breathe out, that umbrella is closing. Taking the breath into the belly, feeling a stretch, a gentle stretch into the tummy muscles as you breathe in. And a softening of the tummy muscles as you breathe out. Taking the breath then right down to the pelvis, picturing the pelvis like a bowl, expanding on your breath in and shrinking onto your breath out. And then take the focus to the diamond of bones at the base of the pelvis. Think of the two sit bones rocking side to side if you're not sure where they are. Think of your tailbone at the back and your pubic bone to the front, and picture that diamond shape. And as you breathe in, you're going to imagine that that diamond is getting bigger. And as you breathe out a little bit more actively, gently draw those 4 points of the diamond closer together. And as you do, take a gentle lift up through the center of the pelvis. You're looking to feel maybe a light tension into the lower belly. Breathing in as you lower and expand. So we want to build that connection with those deeper core muscles first, because we want these muscles working throughout the exercise program. Not always in a strong squeeze and lift, but we want them to be able to stabilize, especially during the harder exercises. So just connect with them and feel them. Feel how it feels as you squeeze and lift, but also as you lower and lengthen. And on your next breath in, opening up your eyes. Starting off with stretches for the spine. Breathe out as you tuck your chin. So find that stretch into the upper part of the neck. And then start to take the head forward. Feel the stretch lower down. And then slowly start to round, sliding your lower arms down the belly. Leaning forwards. And take a breath in here. And as you breathe in this forwards position, you want the breath to go into the back of the ribcage and the sides of the ribcage, so that the head and shoulders can stay forwards. And then as you breathe out, you start to stack back up, sinking the shoulder blades down and floating the head back up. And doing that one more time. Breathing out, tucking your chin, nodding your head, and slowly rounding forwards. And then breathing out. Taking the hands to either side, leaning into one hand as the opposite arm reaches to the ceiling. Keep your hip heavy onto the floor as you breathe out, reach that arm up and overhead. And as you're breathing in, you're now breathing into the side of the ribcage that's stretching. So you want a little bit more of a stretch onto that side. And then as you breathe out, take that arm back down. And then take that to the opposite side, reaching up and then reaching overhead. Hold that reach as you take your breath in. And then breathing out to take the ribs and the arm back down. Taking your one arm over to the opposite thigh and then reach the opposite arm in behind your back and just sit tall first. And then as you breathe out, you're going to ease into a twist. Starting at the lower back, then to the ribs, then to the shoulders, and then to your head. You're going to hold that for a breath in. And then ease yourself back around as you breathe out. And then take the same to the opposite side. So sitting tall, ease into your twist. Take a breath in. in here. And then easing yourself back around. And then making your way onto the floor. So moving your cushion, your stool, your blanket out of the way, laying down onto your back. Knees are bent, feet are flat, you're looking straight up to the ceiling. You should feel that the chin can just gently knob down without those lower ribs or the lower back lifting. So if you need to, add a smaller towel or cushion in behind your head so that you feel that that movement is comfortable. Ribs should be resting on the floor, shoulder blades should feel flat to the floor. Rest the hands on the front of the pelvis and just start to gently tip the pelvis forwards and back a little bit. Feeling that bony triangle now at the front of the pelvis. So the two bony points above your hips and the pubic bone to the front. And picture that triangle. And then find a level position where those 3 points are all level with each other. So if you were to balance a glass of water, it wouldn't be spilling. A small arch into your lower back, so you may feel you can just fit your fingers under your back, but your lower ribs are resting on the floor. And then hold it there as you take your breath in. Channeling the breath right down into the base of the pelvis. And then as you breathe out, a gentle squeeze and lift up through the centre of the pelvis and feel a light tension into the tummy. And your goal is to try and keep that triangle level as you start to move the legs. So on your next breath in, you're going to lower your right knee out. See how far that right knee can go, keeping your triangle level, but also keeping your left leg steady. So just imagine you've got a glass of water balanced on that left knee and you don't want it to spill. Keeping your right knee out to the side, then start to slide your heel away, straightening your leg, but keeping the other knee in the pelvis steady. And then you're going to turn that knee to point to the ceiling and slide the heel back in. And do that 2 more times. Depending on what your foot is resting on, be it carpet or a mat, it'll be easier or harder to slide it. Okay, so when you've done 3 one direction, take 3 the opposite direction. Sliding the leg away, keeping the knee pointing up, turning your knee out to the side, bring your heel inwards, and then pick the knee back upwards. And then slide it away. And back. And the last one. We're just bringing the knee back up and resting the foot down, and then we're going to take 3 in each direction to the opposite side. Breathing in, knee goes out to the side, heel slides away. Notice I'm just keeping my hands here at the front of the pelvis to check in that I'm keeping that triangle level. And then when I've done 3 one direction, I'm going to take 3 the opposite direction. So sliding the heel away, turning the knee to the side, bring the heel in and the knee back up. And the last one. Perfect. Bring the knee back up and holding it there. So this is your neutral position with the triangle level. To move into your imprint position, just take a finger and thumb to the front of the pelvis and the lower rib, and ever so slightly take them closer together. And you just feel the tummy muscles are working a little bit more here. So we're just making it a little bit easier to keep the trunk steady. And then you're going to lift one heel up, so you're on your tiptoe, and then you're going to pick that knee up over your hip, keeping the trunk steady, no tension into the neck and shoulders. So just keep the breath nice and even. And then lower the toe back to the floor, and then let the heel down. And then do the same to the opposite side. Lift the heel up first, and then pick the knee up, and then lower the toe back down, and then the heel back down. And you can keep going at that level, just lifting and lowering one leg at a time, or keeping one leg up, increasing the strength of your breath out. So we're using the breath to connect with those deeper tummy muscles. So slightly stronger breath, slightly stronger effort from the tummy muscles. See if you can keep the tummy muscles steady, so no lifting, and no lifting of your lower back as you pick the second leg up. So both knees over your hips now. See if you can hold it there for breath in. Now thinking about taking the breath a little bit more to the back and sides of the ribs, and then lowering one foot at a time back down. Toe first, then the heel. Opposite leg, toe first, and then the heel. And if that just feels a little bit too difficult, then pick up one knee, and then just come up onto your opposite toes, and then swap over. So find the one that works best for you, either lifting to the toe of the second leg, or lifting up the second leg, or just stick with lifting and lowering one leg at a time. We're looking to find the challenge that best suits you. Okay, so taking that 2 more times to either side. And last one to either side. And then allowing the 2 legs to come back down to the floor. Keeping the knees and the feet hip distance apart, just take the arms out a little bit wider so the shoulder blades feel really flat to the floor. And then as you breathe in, allow the 2 knees to roll to the right, allowing that left hip to lift, we're keeping the shoulder blade flat. And then a strong breath out, draw the left hip to the floor as the 2 knees pick back up. Breathing in as you take the knees to the opposite direction, allowing the hip to lift. Strong breath out, focus on taking the hip back to the floor as the knees come back up. And we're going to take 3 of those to either side. Breathing in for the twist, breathing out to the center. Opposite side, breath in and out. No movement into the shoulders, nice relaxed neck. So working here, the nice twisting stretch for the back, but also a little bit of effort into those oblique muscles wrapping around your trunk. Last one, and taking both hips back down. Keeping the legs there, checking in that you're back into that neutral position, so the pubic bone and the bones at the front of the pelvis are level again. And then reach the 2 arms up to the ceiling. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears, so we want to keep the length in the neck. And as you breathe in, reach the hands up towards the ceiling. It can be really useful to hold something here. So you could hold maybe a book between your hands or even a ball. And as you reach up, the hands can't get any closer together then. And then as you breathe out, as you slide the shoulder blades into the spine, you're seeing how far you can take them. Obviously, you don't want to drop the book or the ball, so hands don't go apart. Elbows stay straight. And you also want to check in that those lower ribs don't start to lift. So we don't want to pinch the shoulder blades together and lift those lower ribs. You're just getting a slide in towards the spine. And do that 2 more times. Breathing in to reach up. And breathing out to slide your shoulder blades back into the spine. And take that 1 more time. Breathing in. And out. And find midway positions where the shoulder blades still feel like they're fairly flat on the floor. If you think of the collarbones, because they attach into the shoulder blades, you want them in a nice wide position, nearly like your collarbones are smiling up towards the ceiling. You want to keep that gentle tuck in the chin and keep the neck long. Hopefully if this is a relatively light book or ball, then you can keep it between your hands, otherwise leave it down. And then as you breathe out, you're going to reach the arms overhead. So as you reach the arms overhead, you're focusing on keeping a softness and sinking into those lower ribs. And just see how far overhead you can reach them. No tension in the neck, ribs staying on the floor. Breathing in as you lift back up. So we're looking to keep the lower ribs on the floor as you reach overhead, and also the lower ribs at the front not lifting up towards the ceiling. So this is where these tummy muscles have to work to stabilize as you reach the arm up and over. Reaching and lifting. And if you want to add to the challenge, then as you reach the hands overhead, you can work on sliding one leg away. So we still want to keep those lower ribs in contact with the floor. Now we're checking in that the lower back doesn't start to lift anymore. So we don't want the pelvis to tip forwards as the leg goes away, causing the lower back to lift. So nothing in the shape of the spine changes, and you don't need to add that heel slide if you just feel it's adding confusion or making it difficult to keep the trunk steady. Taking that 1 more time to either side. And last one. Reach. And then coming back. And then leaving whatever book or ball or maybe anything that you have in your hands by your side. Rest the arms back down by your side. Working the shoulder blades up and down this time. So sliding the shoulder blades up so they're coming up towards your ears, and then sliding your shoulder blades as far down the back as you can. Again, making sure those lower ribs don't lift, and also that the shoulders don't come away from the floor. So I don't want the shoulders to lift forwards, I just want them up and down. So shoulders come up, neck gets a bit shorter, shoulder comes down, neck gets a bit longer. 1 more, up and arms be heavy for a moment. Looking up to the ceiling, ribs on the floor, tuck your chin and find length in the neck. So you're looking down over your knees, feeling a little tension deep in the throat. And then looking back up towards the ceiling. Tucking the chin, nod your head, and then looking back up. And one more time. This time you're going to keep the chin tucked. And if you can imagine holding a very juicy peach between the chin and your chest, you're keeping the collarbones wide, and as you breathe out, just lifting the head slightly, lifting the arms away from the floor, hold it for a breath in, and then breathing out as you lay everything back down. So we're just taking the weight of the head and the arms into those muscles deep in the front of the throat. And that's where you should feel them, not those outer neck muscles and not into the back of the chin. So chin is tucked, breathing out, head and arms floating away from the floor, and lowering back down. And taking two more like that. And last one. And back down and take a breath or two here. So when you get the opportunity, just take a breath or two, let those tummy muscles release and stretch a little bit, let those lower ribs move, and then when you're ready to connect back in, connect back in. So this time we're going to stay neutral, we're only going to lift one leg. So triangle at the front of the pelvis stays level. You're going to float one knee up, so lift the heel up and then lift the whole foot up. So we're going to keep that knee, or we're going to hold that knee over your hip, so you should be able to just see the tips of your toes over the knee. And as you breathe out, you're going to reach that leg away as low as you can, feeling the tension into the tummy muscles, but there's no movement or change to the shape of the spine. And then breathing in, take that knee back in. Just maybe keeping a hand on the belly so that you can feel for any lifting of the tummy muscles. Reaching the leg and bending the knee. So taking it as low as you can maintain that steady triangle and no lift in the tummy muscles. If you're finding it difficult, then work a little bit stronger on that breath out as you reach. And then take a few to the opposite side. Heel toe up, and then reaching the leg straight and bending. Reaching and bending. And connecting a little bit more with the breath out as much as you need to. One more. Perfect. Coming back in and letting the foot come back down. Taking a breath, moving maybe whatever might have underneath your head, and then making your way over onto your belly. So you're going to start with the forehead resting on the floor, maybe the nose resting on the floor too, trying to find a sense of length in the neck, and your arms resting down by your side. Allow the palms to rest up and allow the shoulders to sink downwards. Your tailbone I want pointing straight down between your heels. So if you could imagine that you've got a little butterfly laid out underneath your belly, it's going to, you don't want it, should I say, to be pressed. So as you start to reach through the fingertips, your shoulder blade is going to slide down your back and you're going to rotate your palms into your hips. And then still focus on drawing those shoulder blades down your back, start to lift the head and shoulders up. And as they start to lift up, you're going to rotate the palms down. And as the palms turn down, find that little bit of extra width across the collarbones. Keep a lengthening sensation through the crown of your head, and then as you breathe out, allow the head and shoulders to come back down, rotating your hands. So taking 4 more like that. Shoulder blades drawing down your back, rotating the arms, moving towards having the palms face down. Keep length through the crown of the head. And then as you breathe out, start to rotate around, taking the head back onto the mat. Reaching through the fingertips, sliding the shoulder blades, rotate the arms, keep that lift, and then laying back down. 2 more like that. And 1 more. And back down. Keeping the head where it is, take the hands by the shoulders. Note the legs here. So the legs are not moving, they're not lifting. You want to keep a a certain tension in them, so like a reach through them, but you shouldn't be lifting the legs. Feet shouldn't be lifting off the floor because that's a sign that the lower back is starting to sink. So take the hands to the outside of the shoulders here. You can take them as wide as you need to. I want the palms and the elbows to be on the floor. And we're looking for the same idea of the movement, except keeping the hands on the floor. Drawing your shoulder blades down your back, find that length of the neck. And then as you breathe out, head and shoulders are lifting as the shoulder blades continue to move down your back. Still keeping that idea of the butterfly underneath your belly. And then lowering back down. And taking another 4 like that. Shoulder blades moving nice and evenly, and keeping in mind that the shoulder blades are leading as movement. It's not the head and neck. Head and neck are just following what the upper trunk is doing. Lower trunk is holding steady. So we want the upper trunk lifting. We're not digging into the mat with the lower ribs though. And just find where it is you can get to. Don't force it. Last one, shoulders down, floating the head. And then lowering back down. I'm going to take that one a little bit further, and I find some people find this relatively straightforward and others much more difficult. So you're going to start by drawing the shoulder blades down the back, lift the head and shoulders up, and then continue to lift. So imagine I've got you by the hair and I'm lifting your head up towards the ceiling, elbows and lower ribs lifting away from the floor as far as it's comfortably stretching into your back. Shoulder blades continue to draw down your back here, so we don't want the neck to get any shorter. Keep that lift as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, take the elbows and the lower ribs back to the floor and take the head and shoulders back down. And just repeat that another 4 times, lifting as far as it feels comfortable for your back, nothing forceful. And laying back down. 2 more. Not very good at counting the repetitions, so if you feel you want to do 1 or 2 more, by all means do, or if you feel I'm doing 1 or 2 too many, then you can stop and take a breath. Very hard to count and think of all the movements at the same time. Okay, coming down, this time you're going to stack the hands underneath your forehead, keeping the head down. We're going to take the focus to the legs. That idea of the butterfly underneath the belly is we're keeping the butterfly underneath the belly. You're going to reach one leg and then float it away from the floor. Not squashing the butterfly. Take the same to the opposite side. So you're keeping the knees straight, you're going to reach in the toes, working the muscles all the way up the leg. And that should make the leg feel a little bit lighter. Just lifting and lowering one leg at a time. As much or as little as you feel that you can lift it without sinking into the lower back. Taking 2 more to either side. Last one to either side, reach and lift. And reach and lift. Perfect. Coming down, take the hands back out from underneath the forehead, ease yourself back up onto your hands and knees, and just take some very gentle stretches into your back. Okay, and then from there come back over onto your back. So knees are bent. You want your heels lined up with your sit bones. So often when I say hip distance apart, people go really, really wide. So heels lined up with your sit bones, or what you can do is take the toes and the heels together and step the toes out wide, and then bring your heels in line with your toes. Arms rested by your side, shoulder blades are nice and flat, ribs are resting on the floor. You're finding that natural arch into your lower back. Taking a breath in here, and then as you breathe out, you're going to gently press down with the feet, down with the arms, and you're going to float the spine away from the floor. So note we're lifting the spine in one piece. The distance between the lower ribs and the hips is going to stay the same as you lift and as you lower. So the spine is moving as if it's one solid piece as opposed to lots of individual vertebrae. Breathing out for the lift and breathing in for the lower. And you can either keep maybe your finger and thumb here, or if you find that that's awkward, maybe just check in for 1. Feel what the sensation is like as it lifts, and then keep your arms down by your side for the rest. We're looking to maintain that natural arch in the spine here. So we're working the muscles all the way up, the back of the hips, the back of the legs. Okay, and the next time you lift, keep the hips lifted. And you're going to take a small bend. I shouldn't be turning my head while I'm here. And then gently lift and lower. For 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, 1 more, and then lower back down. We're going to do that 2 more times. Just checking in with the feet. So we want to keep the feet flat on the floor. We're going to roll the feet inwards or outwards. Small dip and then lift, lift. 3 more, 2, last 1, and lower. Also try to keep even weight through both feet. The last one, lifting, small bend, and then up for 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1, and then lower back down. When the hips are back down, just gently roll the knees side to side to stretch them out. Perfect. And then from there, rolling over onto one side. And you can use your bottom arm to support your head here, or you can use your cushion or your pillow to support your head. So knees are bent, heels, hips, shoulders and ears all lined up. Reach your top arm out. And keep your eye on that top arm as you lift it up to the ceiling. So you're turning your head, but this is as far as the neck turns. You're just keeping your eye in your hand. And it's the upper trunk then that's going to give you the twist. So keep the knees heavy as you rotate back. Keep your eye in your hand as you take a breath in. And then breathing out as you come back up and forwards. And taking 2 more like that. Breathing in, twisting. Hold that twist for your breath in. And breathing out as you come back up and forwards. And 1 more. Perfect. And then when you come forward, just rest that hand to the floor. So checking in with the hips, they should be stacked one above the other. Your lower ribs should be resting on the floor, but your lower waist shouldn't be. So maybe a gentle nudge away with that upper hip so you have that small lift into the lower waist. And you're looking to keep the pelvis steady. So we're working the outer hips here. So I often see people kind of rubbing their hips here. That's a good sign. That's where I want you to work. Take a breath in here, and as you breathe out, lift the knee and the foot away from the bottom one. So we want them lined up with your hip so that they're all the same height from the floor. Keep your trunk steady again. Think of the lower ribs to the pelvis. That space is not changing here. And then as you breathe in, you're going to take the knee forwards as far as you can without having to round into your back. And then as you breathe out, you're going to push the foot back as far as you're not arching into your lower back. And then just take the leg forwards and backwards. So it can feel like a pleasant stretch. It is effort on the outer hip. But just check in with the trunk. The temptation is to move the trunk in the opposite way that the leg is moving. We're going to progress that then, keeping the knee bent as you come forwards, but then extending the leg as you bring it back. You're going to be more tempted now to tip the pelvis backwards. So as you straighten that leg, press into your heel, check in that those ribs or pelvis not tipping forwards, breathing in to bend, breathing out to straighten, hips stay stacked. So you should be resting on that hip bone as opposed to the muscles in the back of the hip. Okay, the next time you bring that leg back, and you can keep this hand on the floor for balance, you're going to keep it there and lift and lower. And we want to imagine that you are lying against a wall so that the heel is sliding up and down the wall, the hips are in line with the wall, the shoulders and the head are in line with the wall. So we don't want the leg coming forwards as you lift and lower it. We want to keep it back in line with the rest of the trunk, and you're going to feel the outer hip having to work to do that, more to the back of the hip than the front. Okay, 2 more, and last one, and then bend that leg. Just take a breath here, maybe a sigh out. And then in your own time, we're going to swap over and do the same to the opposite side. So I'm just going to move down the other end of the mat, but by all means you can just roll over. So head is supported, knees are bent, ears, shoulders, hips and heels all lined up. Again, that idea is if you're back against the wall. You're going to reach your top arm out. You're going to keep an eye on that top hand as you lift it to the ceiling and then rotate the trunk open. Hold it for a breath and then breathing out as you come back up and over. And take that 2 more times. Breathing in and rotating, holding and out. And last one. Keeping your head supported at all times here. So if you're using a cushion or your hands, just make sure your head doesn't fall off or roll off the back of it. And then resting the hand down. Hips stay stacked, so remember you're on that lower hip bone, not onto the muscles behind it. And as you breathe out, floating the top leg off the bottom leg. Breathing in, bending at the hip, keeping the knee in the same position as you bring the leg forwards and backwards. Feel a nice stretch down the front as you go back, and a nice stretch down the back as you come forwards. Trying to keep the knee and the foot the same distance from the floor as you move forwards and backwards, keeping your trunk steady. So don't let those lower ribs pop forwards as your foot goes backwards. Good. As if you're trying to push a door closed using your foot. Good. And then we're going to straighten the leg as it goes backwards, reaching through your heel, bending the knee as you come back forwards. So it's not just straightening the leg, you are moving it backwards as well. Use your hand for balance, you can reach it further if you need to, and that will help a little bit more. Same distance from the floor as you go forwards and backwards. And the next time you go backwards, keep it there. Think of yourself lined up to that wall, your heel against the wall as you slide up and down. Try to keep your knee and your toe pointing forwards as you lift and lower here, so you're not turning the foot up to the ceiling. We're aiming to get the effort of the tension in the back of the side of the hip rather than to the front. We normally have more than enough tension at the front. You can take it a little bit more forwards though if you're in any discomfort in your lower back doing this. Perfect. Letting the leg rest down, take a breath and sigh out. And then from there, making your way over onto your hands and knees. Knees are underneath the hips, hands are underneath the shoulders. You want to have your ears in line with your shoulders. So if you were to balance a tray going from the back of the head all the way down to the hips and the tailbone, that the tray would be level. Draw the shoulder blades slightly down your back so that the neck is nice and long, but keep those lower ribs lifted. Take a breath in here, and as you breathe out, reach one arm forwards. Keeping that tray balanced, slide the opposite leg back, keeping the toe on the floor. Hold that reach for your breath in, and then lower back down as you breathe out. Taking that to the opposite side, slide the opposite arm and leg and reach, hold for a breath, and then back down. And then take that to the opposite side, reaching, and coming back down. So alternating sides, but most important is that that trunk stays balanced. At the same time, as you are reaching, just checking in that those lower ribs don't start to sink. So we want to use those lower ribs to support the tray as well. If you can imagine a candle on the floor underneath those lower ribs, and you don't want the lower ribs to lower where they'll feel the heat from the candle. Okay, last one, reaching, and back down. Checking in with the head and neck position, the shoulder blades position, and the lower ribs and tailbone. And then tuck your toes. So focusing on the shoulder blades and the muscles around the shoulder blades now. Breathe out as you kick the knees an inch off the floor, and breathe in to lower back down. Breathing out to lift, and in to lower, and out to lift, and into lower. Maybe seeing if you can keep the knees lifted for your breath in, and then lowering back down. If you're noticing any discomfort in your wrist, you can always place a folded towel underneath the heel of your hands so that there isn't as much of an angle at the wrist, and that can often feel more comfortable for your wrists. Okay, last one, lifting and lowering. Perfect. And just taking some very gentle curls into the spine again. Just get it moving a little bit, maybe even a little bit side to side. Okay, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the of the head lifted so that the ears are in line with your shoulders. Keeping an eye on the right hand as you reach it out to the side and up towards the ceiling. And then as you breathe out, reach the right arm under the left and see how far you can reach it. And take 2 more like that. Breathing in and reaching under. And 1 more breath in and out. And then take the right hand onto the mat and swap over and do the same with the left. Breathing in and out. 2 more. Breath in and out. Last 1. Breath in and out. Perfect. And then from there, sitting back onto your heels if this is comfortable for your knees. Allow the head to be heavy and just take a breath or 2 here. Walk the hands over to one side. Keep the hips nice and heavy as you breathe into the opposite side. And then take that over to the opposite side, breathing in to the stretch side. Then coming back to the center. Making your way back over onto your back. Knees bent and feet flat. Relax the arms out to the side. Shoulder blades are nice and flat. So knees and feet together. Allow the 2 knees to gently roll to the right. Keeping the left shoulder blade flat. Holding it here for a few deep breaths. Knees can be stacked, they can be staggered, wherever you feel you can relax and sink into it best. Take a breath in and a strong breath out to pick the knees back up. And then take the knees over to the opposite side. Again, knees can be stacked or they can be staggered. Wherever you feel is most comfortable and the shoulder blades are staying on the floor. Strong breath out to pick the knees back. Taking the feet a little bit further away from each other and allowing the knees to rest together. And then taking your hands, placing them onto your belly, closing down your eyes. And allowing the back of your head to be heavy onto the floor. Feel those collarbones falling open a little wider as the shoulders sink into the floor. As you breathe out, think the lower ribs sinking a little bit heavier. Lower back and hips sinking a little bit deeper into the floor. Knees melting into each other as the feet sink into the floor. And just start to lengthen your breath in. And lengthen your sigh out. No effort, no tension, just sinking. Taking 3 more deep breaths like that. And taking 1 more long deep breath in. And the biggest sigh out. And then in your own time, opening up your eyes, rolling over onto one side and sitting back up. So that's a nice gentle-based Pilates session. If you are normally used to doing higher level exercise, that can be really nice to just de-stress and really, really good on a recovery day. But for somebody who mightn't be used to Pilates or who might be a little bit more weaker starting out, that just might be challenging enough for the moment. Is that okay? Any feedback, much appreciated. Alright, thanks for dropping by.